If you're a woodworker who's looking to step up your game and create precise, repeatable charcuterie board handles, then we have a solution for you. I'm Sean from Crafted Elements, and I want to talk about our new line of acrylic router templates. These are 3/8 inch thick acrylic templates designed to be used with any router table and flush trim bit. They're going to be the easiest and quickest way to create repeatable, precise, perfect handles every time. And in this video, we're going to go through a full demonstration to show you how they work.
All right, so let's get right into it. This is one of our handle router templates, and as you can see, there's rulers and a center marking, making it easy to align the piece to your board. We're going to line that up with our live edge wood and use a standard pencil just to trace a line that we can cut through. Now we're going to do a rough cut. So this is important because you don't want to actually go right on the line. If you're going to be using a router table and a trim bit, you're going to want to do a rough cut and leave a little bit of material, anywhere from like 1/16 to probably 1/4 inch outside of the lines that you've traced. You can definitely do this rough cut using a jigsaw like I'm using here. You can also use a scroll saw or a bandsaw if you're, depending on the complexity of your cut. But again, the key is to not go on the line or within the line. You want to stay outside of your lines. And of course, if you got a handle template, you'll want to just cut out the center handle portion as well. So I'm just using a hole saw as well as my jigsaw again here to cut out the majority of the material for the inside of the handle. And of course, if you want to actually avoid the router table and you're really good with a saw, you could of course just use a template for tracing and cutting that way and just finish it right from here. But the real beauty of these templates is of course using the router table. You're going to want to come back to your table and stick your template directly to your piece of wood that you've rough cut. So here I'm using hot glue, but you can use two-sided tape as well, which is that red material in that roll, also in the frame there. I just find hot glue is really easy because it's easy to remove and it holds the template to the wood pretty solidly. You can see there's a little bit of meat left on the wood. Here is our flush trim bit that we're going to use in our router table. And you're going to line them up so the bearing is lined up with the router template, and of course the blade part of the router bit is going to be cutting your wood. And here we are just running the piece through the router. That bearing sliding along the router template, doing its job and taking away all that excess material, basically duplicating what the exact shape of the actual acrylic router template onto your piece of wood. Going in the center and doing the center hole is just as easy. You might have to go around twice to get a nice finish, but again, you're really mimicking the template to your wood, and here we are with the finished product. Coming back, we're just going to remove our router template from that wood, and using the hot glue makes this easy. And then you're just going to scrape off the hot glue in this case, or remove your two-sided tape. And if you have any remnants left over, any sort of staining, you can just do a quick sand with your hand sander or palm sander and get rid of the excess before you move on to the final stage of finishing. So I've got a chamfer bit, or a rounding bit if you will, back in the router table, and I'm just going over the entire board again to round over all those straight edges to get a really nice soft edge on everything. Obviously we're leaving the live edge alone since that's kind of the point of this board. And then before your final finishing, you're of course going to do your stages of final sanding. Here I'm just doing like 120 or up to 220 grit to get it just enough to get it oiled. And I've got some Howard cutting board oil that I'm now going to apply to this board. It's always a fun part of the process, seeing the color of the wood and all the grain just pop out as you put that oil on. So depending on how you finish your boards, you might top coat them with epoxy, or you might do an oil coat like this, or something like an Odie's oil. But again, you can see that this is a perfect mirror image of that acrylic router template. And of course, we have, a huge collection of different types of templates for cutting board handles.
As you can see, using one of these templates along with your router table is going to make your life much easier and is going to increase the precision and quality of your charcuterie board projects. If you want to get your hands on one of these templates or the entire collection, you can head over to craftedelements.com now. Happy making!